Peace, y'all. It's Randy, the MGC, and I am going to tackle compassion. Good old compassion. This number 2 on my, 20 character word list, and I love talking about compassion because, oh man, there's so little of it. There's so little of it in our society. Right? So little of it. So it's one of those. That's compassion is one of those jewels. You know, it's the reason why give a homeless person, $1 or some juice or some water, or buy them a burger or whatever you might do, or give them a coat, or you might go to the homeless shelter and volunteer your time and your energy, your resources, money, whatever, or why you might start a nonprofit organization, for the needy children or the, abused women or, homeless men or or drug abuse, people who indulge in, hard time living. So the compassion, right? This piece, compassion is not just doing something nice, right? Compassion is being able to see things, right? It's vision. Compassion is vision, having vision, being able to see things from more than one angle, more than one perspective, right? Compassion is understanding, right? I should say, I'll put it like this, right? That vision of being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes or in another perspective and see it from a different side, a different angle, right? That grants you a level of understanding. From that understanding grants the ability to show some compassion. Now, showing some compassion is volunteering oneself to the betterment of another. But of course, you know how I do by now. The internal feeds the external, right? So how does one show compassion to others? Well, it starts first with self. You have to have some compassion for self. Now, of course, you know of, I'm sure you probably know of, and I know of, and sometimes even myself, being one of these examples. People who give to others, there's been times where I've given to others, something that I don't necessarily, have down pat, right? And that's, again, it's the ego, it's the ego, imbalanced ego, I should say, but I don't make a habit of it, but I'm sure all of us have kind of done similar things, or done the same thing in some way, shape, or form. But some people make a habit of it. They give. Then when when the high from giving, when it floors and they come back to reality of their situation, then they become the victim. They become needy, right? They become greedy, selfish, self-indulged, right? That's when it shows, and you be like, oh, nothing's going right, and can you help me with this, and won't you womp womp, and won't you womp womp, and that's because they didn't show themselves compassion. It's easier to focus on the external, right? It's easy to give, because you do get something back from giving, it's not one-sided. Sometimes it may feel one-sided because maybe you don't get back, a sufficient amount, based on your expectations, but it's not one way. You do get a high from giving, and some people become addicted to that high. They focus on the high itself of giving, and so they give until they all out. And then they have this expectation of, well, I've been giving, and nobody gives me nothing. Yeah, but nobody asked you or required you to give until you have nothing left. Nobody required you to do that. Right? So you didn't respect yourself enough to put some in reserve and save some. You didn't have that dignity to say, well, I'm not gonna be without. I'm going to show myself some compassion and make sure that I'm in a space of abundance, so that I'm able to keep giving, versus just chasing the high of giving will leave you with nothing. Then you become, that in that victim mentality and that victim persona. You expect now others to give, without a cognizance of their situation, without a understanding, of their situation, without being able to put yourself in their shoes and see like, okay, well, maybe they don't have it to give, or maybe they're struggling too, or maybe, it's, bad timing, or maybe they're going through a hardship. Keep saying hard shift. Maybe they're going through a hardship in their life right now, and they, really just can't afford, to give at this moment in time. What it is that you are, requiring or requesting or expecting, or all of the above. So that compassion, right? If we have that compassion for ourselves, then we will grant ourselves with abundance, so that we would have abundance to give. The more we give to ourselves, the more we have the ability to give to others. Doesn't mean that you have to necessarily give to others, but however, the more that you give, karma ensures the more that you receive, if it's based on compassion and not based on self-indulgence, right? See, that's the difference between those two examples. One is self-indulged, and it's me, because they're really chasing the high of giving, right? So they're getting high, off of that. They're getting, that actual high of giving, versus actually giving because they want others to, to feel better, and want others to, be in a place of abundance, or, be able to be more, sustainable, or more secure, etc. Right? So there's a balance. There's a balance. Don't give it all away, right? Because then you lack compassion for self. But then if you don't give, that's another. So there's another version of self-indulgence, right? There's always a too hot and a too cold, right? So the other end of the spectrum is never giving, right? Because you live a life of scarcity. Like, you live life with a mindset of scarcity, is what I mean. So you're under the impression that you never have enough to be secure. So therefore you don't have enough to give ever, right? And you'd be surprised how many people operate like that. You'd be surprised how many people operate like that. Understandably so. Our society is based on taking advantage, of the underprivileged, right? The majority of our society are, a paycheck away or two paychecks away from homelessness and from losing a car and from, losing the things that they value so much. The majority of us are paycheck to paycheck, and, we, we have all these bills, we have children. Children want and need things always, right? We always want and need things, right? Yeah, so it's like, I get this person this, or go after my goals and the things I want and the things I need. It's like, I'm gonna keep it all to myself. Forget that. So that self-indulgence, that, me, mine, it's an immaturity. It's an immaturity, right? That perspective of just looking at it from a me, mine, you're hurting yourself, really, because it's very unnatural, right? It's very unnatural not to share, right? If you have a talent, if you have a gift, when you share that gift, when you share that talent, it's worth so much more, than it's worth so much more to the ones that you are sharing than it is to you keeping it all balled up, safe and secure in your mental vault. And whether they show that they value it or not, it can be worth a lot to someone, and you never know who you're gonna touch, through your example, of displaying that great character. You never know. So yeah, sometimes we work, and we work hard, and we like, okay, well, I work hard, so I gotta play hard. Nothing wrong with that, right? But we can take for granted the opportunities that we've been given, or that we've been provided. We can take those opportunities for granted, and we take them for granted by not providing opportunities for others. So you get to a place in which might be more comfortable for you, but not comfortable. You're still working towards a goal, and you're like, okay, well, I'm not where I want to be, so I don't have nothing to give yet. But no, you're always doing better than somebody. You're always doing better than somebody. Now, on the other end of that is someone's always doing better than you, right? You always doing better than somebody, and somebody's always doing better than you. So, compassion is the display of reciprocity. It's karma, and it's really a high science, one in which, as you display that compassion, you'll just notice that you start feeling better about yourself. You start feeling better about your situation. You start feeling better about other people. You know, it's it's a really it happens in a it happens in that manner. You know, it multiplies. You know, I make sure that I give, you know, to others. You know, I'll go out of my way to give to others, you know, and for some odd reason, it seems that I am blessed to have people go out of their way for me. I attract what I give off. So I make certain that I'm not giving too much, because I do have a lot of responsibility, a lot of people counting on me, a lot of people depending on me to, you know, maintain a certain level and certain standard, you know. But you know, I have something to give always, you know, whether it's appreciated or not. It might not suit the other person's, you know, expectations, or, you know, suit their, you know, their wants, but, you know, I make certain that I'm striving to, you know, give myself the things that I need. So because I'm in that mindset, I'm able to see in others what they need, you know. So I'm like, okay, you know, I know that I know when I'm hungry. I know when I'm thirsty and dehydrated, right? So when I see my son, you know, kind of walking back and forth to the kitchen, it doesn't happen often, but, you know, thank goodness my consort does a good job with, you know, providing, you know, those cooked meals on time, you know, and on schedule. But I notice, you know, if they are hungry, you know, pacing back and forth or displaying a certain behavior, you know, they might be hangry, you know, or dehydrated, you know. I know what it looks like in them because I know what it looks like in myself. So that you know, that just by in recognition, you know, I'm now equipped to now service, you know, those in need. So I'm like, okay, he hangry right now. He needs something to eat, 'cause he's tripping right now, you know. So, you know, now I can say, you know, I can go and, or I just tell him, hey, go get you a banana, you know, go get you an orange, you know, or, you know, go drink that smoothie, you know, out the kitchen, you know. Yeah, that was mine, but, you know, go ahead, you can have a little bit, you know. You know, I'll go get you some water. You know, you dehydrated. You know, your mouth is dry, and, you know, you know, or you know, you are sweating a lot, or, you know, whatever, you know. So compassion, that's a real key one. You know, with compassion, all of us do better. You know, it's a key a key prerequisite for community building. If we can understand what that other person is experienced, and, you know, on some level, you know, because I haven't been raped, and, you know, don't plan on it, you know, and I don't want to go through that, you know, in order to know what that's like, you know. But, you know, I know how it feels to be taken advantage of. You know, I know what it feels like to be, you know, to be compromised, you know, not to that degree, but I can recognize and understand what that may feel like to some degree, you know. So it empowers me to now be able to understand and give, you know, what may be needed to that person in that time in which they need it, you know. So yeah, compassion is that's a key one, It's a key. Real key. It just makes us better people, right? Makes us more relatable, you know, makes us more appealing, socially appealing to others, because they feel like, okay, this person, they get it. They get where I'm coming from, you know. Sometimes just listening, being intrigued by, others' stories, others, way of life or, culture, you know, can grant you the compassion to, you know, uh, take a different approach, a more suitable approach, you know. See, I use compassion a lot. I can honestly say that's a strong suit of mine, and it could be a strong suit of yours. All of these can be a strong suit of yours if you're working at it daily. You know, so how could you exercise some compassion? Go learn. Go learn. Go and listen and learn. People's stories. Go and research what it's like. What different experiences are like. You know, and maybe you will be able to draw the dots or connect the dots, I should say, and draw a line between you and someone else. By just understanding, where they're coming from, because you probably have experienced, in some degree, maybe not the same thing, and sometimes the same thing, what that other person, feels like or is feeling, you know, to be able to, you know, really bond and, become closer, you know, rather than being wrapped up into your own experience and your own needs and your own wants, you know. So the internal, how do you use that internally, you know, look at your own life, look at your own experiences, and get to understand those, get to understand why you're the way you are, for quote unquote good or bad, right? Understand why, certain things happened, understand what happened. Sometimes we don't even, look at, the fullness, the full scope of, our own situations. We just kind of take it as it is, and, don't really pay attention and say, okay, well, I got a problem, you know, I got an issue, and I need to address this issue, you know. Where did this issue come from? Like, you know, why did it happen? When did it happen? When did this trauma begin? How did this trauma begin? You know, who was involved? Who failed? Maybe it was your father that failed. Maybe it was your mother that failed. Maybe it was a grandparent. Maybe it was an uncle, a cousin, a sister, brother, whatever. Maybe they failed their role. So now, now that you have the cognizance to, understand that, now, you can relate to the younger brother or the child, or the person that's homeless or whatever, someone who has a situation. You can now relate with them and say, yeah, I've been through, kind of similar situation, or same type of situation, or, I've been through something, to that degree. I've been through something that maybe on a lesser, degree of severity, but, I get where you're coming from. And what helped me was blase, blase, blah. Oh, okay. I'm gonna try that. See how that works. Yeah. So go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, comment, question, throw it in the chat, and yeah, always be of great character. Strive to be. As men of great character. That's what we do. We're striving to create men and women of great character. And all of us can become that if you set your mind to it and do it. So keep taking this journey with me, and we'll build on the next, which is respect. Respect. All right. So peace until the next time.